There's a lot of people here for this. You guys must be excited.
Oh, absolutely.
Where are you
Brad.
guys all from? You're all from local?
I'm from Kansas City.
Okay. How far is that from here?
I've seen you down a couple weeks ago. Down in Kansas.
I was there. Everybody's from local other on here? Okay.
Hey, Brett, I'm Philip. I work for the Des Moines Register.
Philip, how are you?
Great
Good
to
see
meet
you.
you.
All right, hit me. Who wants to go first?
How much has changed since you were here the last time?
A lot with the track surface. You know, it used to have this really wicked tunnel bump down in 1 and 2, and now that's been kind of taken care of, which is nice because the next gen car doesn't really play well with bumps. It's kind of like an Indy car, but I think it'll make the car more raceable around others.
What are your most vivid memories when you won here those 3 times?
I remember the trophy. It's a cool trophy. Yeah, I like tracks that have unique and fun trophies. Whether when you win them, it means a lot to you, but it just has an identity to it that I'll never forget. And winning here the inaugural weekend of the Xfinity Series, which was NASCAR Junior Series in 2009, was one of the highlights of my career. Full crowd, and I felt like I'd really made it that weekend. It was very special.
What did you think when you found out that Iowa was getting a cup race?
I was almost shocked. I had told people for a long time that I thought Iowa was a good candidate for a Cup Series race. And I got a call from the NASCAR marketing department and saying that they wanted me to go do the announcement with the governor. And that was, it's like, wait a minute, what? And, sometimes you think you're getting pranked, right? And, but I when it was obvious it wasn't a prank, I just thought, well, good for them. There's a lot of dues that have been paid by this track and the community, and I'm glad to see that all pay off for them.
Brad, we talked at the introductory presser for that about that blog you wrote about your dream schedule with Iowa Speedway being on there. What was it like to get out on track today in a Cup car?
It was good. It was hard for me to reconcile the fact I hadn't been here in almost 8 years. But when you get here, it's just like putting on an old shirt. You know how it feels and where to be.
Was it pretty similar even with the repave?
Yeah, I think a lot of the same characteristics. Like I said, other than that big tunnel bump in 1 and 2 is now gone, so that's good.
Brad, we were just talking with Christopher Bell, and like you, he's got a couple wins here. Can you talk a little about how, this is the first Cup Series race, but this track has molded young drivers, has a lot of history in it still. Can you talk a little about how much this track has molded young drivers and the history that's here?
Yeah, well, this track running as almost a junior track to the Cup Series for a number of years, that kind of makes it a great equalizer in some sense. When you're a young driver and you come into the Cup Series, you go to all these tracks where the more senior drivers have way more experience than you do, and this is kind of a flip of that, right? Where the younger drivers have more experience here than even some of the older drivers do. And it makes for unique scenarios and great opportunities.
What have you've been a big advocate of this place. Well, first of all, is that partly because of your own Midwestern upbringing in Detroit?
Well, I think the first thing I look at is, does a track have the support of the community?
Huh.
That is like the first thing I look at when I say what makes a great racetrack and a great place to host an event.
Huh.
And the times I've been here, I felt like the fan base was really strong. I felt like whether it be the local government or local businesses were highly involved. And what that communicates to me is that you're wanted here. And that's where you want to be. You want to be where you're wanted. And you just feel like when you come here to Iowa Speedway that the community wants NASCAR here, and that makes it a really good feeling.
So just one more thing from me, what do you like about the track overall? What have you always liked about it?
I like that it has its own identity. There's not another track that it really drives like. I like obviously the community, but the track itself, it just feels like it's got its own kind of niche to it, and I think that's good.
Short track that drives like an intermediate track.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of everything in it, yeah.
You talk about the community wanting the Cup race here. It sold out within a matter of days, so it's going to be a packed crowd. That's exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting to see a full house. So, when I remember coming here the first few races and just feeling the energy, you knew it was a big race to the community, and that makes it a big race to you as a driver, and it's a really good feeling to see that.
Do you have any thoughts on the news from Stuart Haas racing today?
Yeah, you just, it's capitalism, good and bad, right? Things come and things go. You hate to see them go. There's a number of families that are affected by that, and I'm sure most of them will land in a good place, but you still hate to see it.
Just talk about RFK. You won this race at Darlington a couple of weeks ago. Just a couple of weeks since that. How big was that, and where you're at now?
Yeah, it was good to be locked in the NASCAR playoffs, not have to worry about racing for points and trying to point your way in. It puts us in a really good position to come back here to Iowa to be able to race for a win, and I'm proud of our efforts and proud of the speed we show.
Do you have